It's 24 points. That takes us into the 90 area, which is now the measure against that bracket move. And you can see, bingo. I mean, they took out this overnight session break here. We came up into the top line. Remember the price we were trading on the S&P futures. The S&P futures, remember, guys. And obviously, one of the key aspects to that is that there's about 10-point difference between them bid offer on the Prem. But we sold the 82s, and obviously if you'd sold the 82s, it was the equivalent of selling into basically this 92 bracket area here. And going from that price, 60 points, 60 S&P points this morning, off of a level that we mentioned twice. I even warned you that it was coming up, did I not? Oh yes, I did. I even warned you that it was coming up into the top lines, and you would have been able to look at that warning and say, wait a second, that key battleground is something I want to pay attention to. Here it is here. So at 9:58, guess when the sell came in, guys? 9:58, and then it was retested at 20 past 10. 9:58 and 20 past 10. In other words, 20 minutes later, it was retested, and it was slightly higher than the previous trade. Key battleground was at 85, bullish above, bearish below. We got Voltics, we got leans, 43.80s, all the way down to 43.20s, 60 S&P points, 60 S&P points, $3,000 per contract, just by being able to read a tweet, act on the tweet, take advantage of what we see, and bada bum, bada bing, big bada boom, off she goes like an absolute choo-choo train. But it wasn't just that. That's what I was trying to say to the guys in the room this morning. It wasn't just that, was it? It was the fact that we've seen a bond reversal developing at that exact same point, interestingly enough. The bond reversal allowed us to think about the markets from that bond perspective. The idea of the curve changing shape is a sentiment trade. And I suggested to everybody that if they're going to be using the predictors to set up a screen that shows 3 or 4 key predictors. And if they do 3 or 4 key predictors, keep the narrative up to date. On the right-hand side of the predictor, just type in bullish bonds or bearish bonds. It can only be 1 or 2 of those conditions, net bullish bonds, and you'll see that if all the predictors agree, you're starting to see the sentiment. If you're bullish bonds, of course, that means that you've got negative sentiment for the rest of the marketplace. If you're bearish bonds, you start to recognize the possibility that there is bullish sentiment for the rest of the markets, depending upon where they're situated at that point. So it's a very, very powerful narrative. It's just like the narrative that we've just mentioned in bonds there. We said that the bids are still coming in bonds, and for that reason, we were talking about the buyers coming in off the 26. Guess what, guys? It's just traded 04s. It's just traded 04s. It's crazy, isn't it? You're able to recognize buying at higher prices, take advantage of it, bada boom, bada bing. Massive, massive profits. Crazy, 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 crazy good trades. We love it. You're saying, what do you mean about the forecasting? Well, it's all in a classroom we did this morning, so you're too late. You missed it. You had your chance, and you blew it. Anyway, Bitcoin. I had a little chat about Bitcoin, and we talked about Bitcoin's most recent moves on the Bold Max. $14,500 in the last 4 days on Bitcoin, guys, per coin. Per coin. $14,500. So the sell coming in at 43,500. The buy at the bottom edge, 34,500. Yep, $10,000 profit, guys. 10 grand profit on the sell. The buy bounce, and then the buy bounce, and Bitcoin is making fortunes for anybody that obviously is following the little cryptos space. So great trades, Max dominating the crypto space enormously, making a lot of monies. All right, bonds are starting to take a little bit of shape now. That's interesting. So we're starting to see bonds taking a little bit of shape as we come up into these next key levels. So I'm going to be watching that forming. The narrative just now starting to suggest a top edge, short ZF, long ZT. What does that mean? That means that stirs are going to be going into a steepener, and that means higher rates, therefore sell top line bonds. That's something that I'm going to start working into, and we'll try and take advantage of. We're starting to see some big sellers coming in, not buyers getting jammed, but sellers starting to come in, so that's interesting. So let's see what just happens off this 7s and 8s. Let's see if we can get a bit of business working on this. Now, as I said before, we can look at these, but we've also got to remember that there's more than just one driver. The fact is that the FOB spread has accelerated past the NOB spread. What does that mean? Fight buyers might be coming in as well. Fight buyers are going to start causing a bit of an impact on higher price bonds. So that's something that we also can take advantage of. If it shows up, we can start seeing it. What else? Well, let's take a look at the TIPS markets, the bonds, the inflation break-evens. We've been very bullish. We've been very bullish in the last little sequence of play. That was the reason why the big sell didn't work out very well. That's why the buyers came in. But that's starting to diverge now in terms of inflation break-even. So that's worked out relatively nicely at this price. The Japanese yen, a little bit against us just now in the short term. So we're just watching that developing. So I quite like it. I'm going to be starting to put bid bonds into an offer watch narrative. Let's see how it plays out.